Today in this tutorial we will be going over how to navigate our interactive seismic map and how to interpret the seismic data recorded across the state. Located across the state, each being depicted by varying shapes and colors on this map. We will address the shapes later, but for now let's focus on the colors of the stations. There are stations colored blue, which are concentrated in the western edge of the state along the Mississippi River, and stations colored red throughout the state. These stations help monitor the entire state and are concentrated at places of higher activity and are helping us understand the seismicity in those zones. The blue stations, as you can see in the legend, represent the locations of standalone seismic stations. They're called this because these stations aren't linked to our real-time network. The data they record must be collected manually by going out to these sites and uploading the data to a portable device and then bringing it back to the office for further analysis. This process occurs every 2 months. The red stations represent the locations of real-time seismic stations. The data these stations record is directly uploaded to our network nearly instantaneously as it's recorded, and do not require a manual upload. The data uploaded from these stations is viewable online. To show you how to do this, we will use the Lexington or BHKY station as an example. Once the page loads, you should see the name of the station, its latitude and longitude location, and today's date at the top. Any of the interactive sites will have up to a week's worth of data available for observation, starting from the current day and working backwards. To navigate between each day, simply press the arrows on either side and select Go. Beneath the title, you will see two different graphs. One depicting data by a seismometer, which is typically the top graph, labeled so, and one depicting data collected by an accelerometer, which is typically the lower graph, labeled so. Let's begin by looking at the first graph, which is from the seismometer. A seismometer is a device which measures the velocity or the weak motion of the seismic waves. The usage of this data is more for monitoring purposes, so scientists can keep track of the smaller earthquakes and equate them to movement along a zone. The second graph is depicting data collected from the station's accelerometer. An accelerometer is a device which measures the acceleration or strong motion of the seismic waves. The usage of this data is for emergencies associated with larger earthquakes because these devices have a higher recording capacity. Scientists are able to extrapolate any damage caused by this magnitude of an earthquake with this type of data. Now that you know what these two graphs are measuring, let's talk about how the data is displayed. The graphs are set up to display data from a 24-hour period starting at 8 p.m. the previous night and ending at 7 p.m. tonight. Each hour consists of a black, red, blue, and green line, each representing a 15-minute period, as you can see labeled on the vertical axis. As you may notice, there are spikes of varying thickness within the lines on the graph. These spikes display the frequency of seismic activity that this device has recorded at that point in time. The wider the line spikes, the higher the magnitude of the seismic wave. However, certain stations, such as the Sacramento station, can record background noise throughout the day. The more continuous spikes, as you can see, is a local dehumidifier at that station, which has started running. That way, no moisture damages our devices. Now that you understand the graphs, let's go back to the map and go over its symbology. All of our stations are labeled as weak motion, strong motion, or weak and strong motion seismic stations, excluding the two that are labeled as vertical seismic array stations located above the New Madrid zone. These stations are symbolized on the map, corresponds to what device or devices are at the site recording data. A weak motion station has a seismometer, a strong motion station has an accelerometer, and a weak and strong motion station has both. The vertical seismic array station is set up differently. These stations have a sequence of instruments installed at various depths to measure the effects on seismic waves as they pass through different mediums. We hope this video has assisted you in properly navigating and understanding our interactive seismic map. And if you would like to know more about the earthquakes in Kentucky, visit our page at www.uky.edu/KGS and select Earthquakes under the Research and Programs tab. Or click the video on our YouTube homepage, the Kentucky Seismic and Strong Motion Network at UK, under our liked videos section.